All right, so I'm live with 52 Weeks of Julia, and I'm going to get into modules today. So I'm going to dive right into sharing my screen and get started. Here we go. Modules, Julia. And modules in Julia, the goal is to organize things. This is common in other languages as well. So just kind of looking through here real quick, what do we got? We can see module, some module. That makes sense. And let's see, modules are separate namespaces. They can define a set of names for exports. They can be pre-compiled, which is interesting. Typically in larger packages, you'll see something like that. Qualified names. Names for functions, variables, and types are always belong to a module called the parent module. So I guess built-in stuff is part of the parent module. And referring to functions, types, global variables, and constants can be added to the export list of a module with export. Typically, they're at the near or the top, but you also can do standalone using and import. So the using modules means the module name will be available to continue. So you say using nice stuff, import nice stuff. I guess I just try it out. That's probably the best way to kick the tires on something new. So I'm going to go back again to this environment. We got code spaces here. And let's actually, one thing I'm going to set up, I forgot if I set this up before, is if I go down to code spaces, I want to set up pre-build. And the reason why I want to set this up is that it makes things go way faster in the future so that it'll automatically build the environment for me anytime I make a change. And so the launch time should be very, very quick. So let's go ahead and wait for this for a second. There we go. Now, if I want to get into modules, let's go ahead and say 9. So 9. So 9 Julia modules. Okay, so let's go here, here, here. So I think the thing to try out would be, if I understand correctly, would be that I can just make a directory and I could just say mixture Julia module test, something like that. And then I would just put a piece of code in there. So I would just say touch Julia module test. And we'll just say like hello dot Dale. If I look at this, I would just build out. Let's look at the documentation real quick. So we have this renaming, using top level submodules, a lot of stuff here that I don't want to read. So I'm just going to try something. So I'm going to try to build an add function. So we'll say like build add function. There we go. Let's actually tweak things a little bit. If I go to this, see how I have Copilot, I want to actually remove this. I want to uninstall, and I want to do the Copilot nightly. I want the latest stuff here, and I want to do labs so I can actually do translations. Those are great. And you need to install. Sure, let's do that. And then if we go to this environment, I also haven't customized my environment here. So why don't I just do that? I think I have everything running the way I want it in Julia, but I guess if I wanted to make things a little bit fancier, I could use GPUs in the future as well. And I'm not sure actually if Julia, if you can do GPU programming. Let's see, GPU Julia. Oh, apparently you can. So maybe there are ways to do it. It's best supported with NVIDIA, a library for machine learning. Well, maybe I'll do this. So what I can do next here is I'm gonna go to I'm gonna customize my environment a little bit for GPUs because I do want to try that out. And so what I could do is look at another project real quick. And let's go here. When I was kicking the tires on before, and let's go to um, heuristics here. And if I look at dev container, this is something that I'm going to add as a feature. So let's customize this environment a little bit. So let's do this. We'll say dev. We're going to configure dev container features. Let's go down to Julia. So let's find, I think there is a Julia. Is there? Jupyter Data Science. This might be what I want, unless there's a Julia specific one, which would be cool. Oh, there we go. Develop Julia applications. That's what I want. So let's take a look at what this builds out. So we've got a Julia container, configure tool specific stuff. That looks good. It's even got some post create commands, which I don't know why it's running that because it doesn't, but I don't know how it finds that. But sure, we can do this. And the other thing that I'm going to add is if I go back to the to this is I'm going to add this feature, which is the ability to use Cuda containers. So let's do that. NVIDIA Cuda. I don't think I need that. I just need that. Does that work? Let's see, that's there, that's there. So I would just need to add this, comma. There we go. That should work. There we go. And if we go back to the extensions, this is reload required. Let's go ahead and try this out. So not only is it going to reload this extension, but it may in the future reload the build process for this as well. So if I go back to my Julia environment here and we go to repositories, Julia, and let's look at the settings. And I look at code spaces. And let's just delete this one. And let's set up a pre-build. Let's just double check that I can use the default. No, I don't want that because I want to push this code. So let's say get status. There we go. Get add .dev container. Get add everything here. I guess I'm going to set up the Julia GPU. So get status. Get commit. Adding dev container. There we go. If we push that. Now, if I go back here and I refresh this, this should have the ability to use. See, why is it saying default code spaces? I don't think. Yeah, it should have this dev container.json. So if we go here, we set a code spaces, set up pre-build, main, default code spaces configuration. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why that's not showing up, but in theory, this should work. And then I can slowly in the future do container things with GPU. But for now, we have an add function, and so if I wanted to use that add function, presumably I could just open up a Julia shell, and we'll just type in Julia like this, and I'm assuming I would say something like, well, actually, I don't know how this works. So let's see. How would you use? You would say import. What's the hello world import? You put a dot in there? Is that what you do? You just say import? I guess that's how you import. Let's see. So you'd say import dot Julia module test. Does that work? The tab doesn't. That work? Nope. Let's try our friend Google. How to import Julia modules. It's exactly what I want. You say, so the main script has to be a relative using. Okay, well that makes sense. So let's put this as documentation into my README and say like C Stack Overflow post on importing Julia. There we go. And I think what I want to do, if I remember from the Stack Overflow post, is said something like this. So let's just use this as reference. I can refer to it as I'm pulling it in. So I would say include this thing, Julia module tests. That didn't work. Why did that not work? This doesn't work. Opening file, no such file. Oh, I misspelled it. That's why. Because I want to say this. Julia. Oh, okay. Do I need to do / in front of it? Well, both seem to work. And so I'll put like, so for our example, we would do 1, 2, 3, Julia, include Julia module tests, and then say using dot hello. I'm assuming is the module inside. That didn't like that. Hello not defined. So what does this mean? Let's look again here. So we've got a hello. When I run this, I get this error. So in this particular example, hello, we don't see anything yet. Um, hmm. Test. Would it be add? Would it be add? Julia module. See, I don't understand the order here. So the main script would be written with a relative import. Doing that, I found this. He describes. Well, let's look at this guy's documentation. Previously, packages were stored in main. Ooh, a lot to read. I just want to look at something simple. You should include / before using hello. Oh, oh, so I've written a module called hello. Yeah, I guess what I'm confusing things here is I have a directory of code, which is more complex. So I'm making things harder for myself. So I'm going to not make things hard for myself. And so I'm going to do a different approach here, which is I need to do the basics. So I'll say touch test import like that, .jl. And then inside of this, I'm going to say build an add function, build an add function. There we go. So we got an add function. Now I'm going to say Julia. Now I'm going to say the include / test import. That work? Nope. Really? Let's look again here. So include. Let's try that. Let's just literally copy paste and replace include test import.jl. I want test import. Wow. Oh, it didn't like this because that's a bad comment. Build an add function. I'm using that's what the real issue was. So let's try it again. Wrong piece of code. Build an add function. What happens when you have lots of the exact same code example? You can paste your tail. There we go. Added generic function. Oh, look, and it even says it. So if I just have an add 1 or 1 and 2 or whatever. Oh, okay, cool. So I know how to make at least a module import it. So in this case, I'm just going to add that I can do test module. What did I call it? Yeah, test import. Test import jail. So that works. For example, let's try more complex. Now try a directory. So in order to do that, does this work? Does include test imports Julia module test? Does that work? Did not work. But then, or do I need to say the name of the file? I need to say hello.jl. What happens if I do that? Well, that works. So we know that works as well. So, I mean, I guess that works. So I don't need to think too hard. Julia. Okay, so we know how to build libraries now in Julia, which is actually pretty useful. So if I go through here and I exit, there you go. So to build libraries, so the summary is summary. Build libraries. You build a directory, and then to use them, you just include use include command. Yeah, pretty cool. And we can see here like example of how to do it. So not bad. That was mission accomplished. I think that's good enough for today. And I will see you next week.